Welcome back, everybody. I hope you all have been having kind of a great summer. We really have been around here, so I hope everybody else is as well.
Yeah, no, and everybody I talked to that's inside the academy, they're saying they've been having a great year so far. So we're excited about things.
Yeah, we've gotten quite a few new academy members lately. So if you all are listening, thanks for joining us. Yep. Even current academy members, we always appreciate you all tuning in as well. So I think it's just been good. Everybody's kind of got a good vibe going. Everybody's happy and working on things. So I really like the trajectory that everything is on here lately.
Yeah, no, it's been great. Been talking to a lot of members here, and we've been really diving into our numbers. I'm actually too excited. We're going to be going down and visiting one of our academy members here soon.
So look for that. That'll be out on, we'll have it on the YouTube channel probably. Have some footage from that. So this is kind of our first little step into actually going out and meeting with members in person, because most of it's done over
Zoom.
Phone
calls,
so that's really exciting. So stay tuned for that. That'll be out on the YouTube channel soon.
And that's kind of like our long-term goal. That's what we want to do. We want to actually travel around and come visit.
I want to see everybody.
And talk to you, see what we can do to help you out, whatever it is.
Sure.
So we're excited about having this first opportunity to do that.
All right. Well, here's a few quick words from our sponsors, and then we will be back to talk about how a lack of systems almost killed our landscaping business.
The only app every landscaper needs. Company Cam makes it dead simple to communicate, document, and problem solve with guys in the field, no matter where you are. Company Cam brings documentation, communication, and liability protection together in one simple, easy-to-use app for you and your entire team. Take unlimited photos and videos, share custom reports, create flawless before and afters, and even communicate and share progress with homeowners with galleries and project timelines, all from your smartphone. Company Cam, the only app every landscaper needs. Check it out at companycam.com/million or in your app store.
If you run a landscape or lawn care business, you know the work never ends. There's customer service, hiring staff, mountains of paperwork. The to-do list just goes on and on. Plus, you still need to do the actual work that pays your bills. Running your entire business with pen and paper alone is just hard and really plain messy. You know you need a better system to stay on top of everything so nothing falls through the cracks. Jobber is a mobile and online app that helps keep your business organized and looking more professional than ever. With Jobber, you can quote jobs, schedule your crews, send out invoices, accept payments online, all in one place. You won't know how you ran your business without it. Jobber offers free one-on-one coaching to help get you started, and there's no software experience needed. Get paid on time, go paperless, and impress your customers. Try it for free today at getjobber.com/MDL. This podcast is brought to you by Busy Busy. Busy Busy is so simple to use, and it's the most reliable GPS time tracking app on the market. And the best part is, it was built for landscapers. Busy Busy's founder created Busy Busy because he owns multiple construction companies and needed to understand better which projects were making him money and which projects were killing him. Payroll is the highest variable cost in the project, so you better be tracking it. Busy Busy does this better than anyone else. So download Busy Busy today, and don't forget to mention the $1 Million Landscaper Podcast to get 3 free months.
We want to take a quick second to tell you about our friends over at Cycle CPA. I can't even express to you how important it is to have a good accountant on your side. You know you want accurate bookkeeping and financial statements every month. Instead, you're often left with limited time to focus on the accounting side of your business and no reports to show for it. At Cycle CPA, the landscaping accountants, they not only handle the bookkeeping, but also provide landscape industry benchmarking, job costing, financials by service line, advisory meetings, and much more. Cycle CPA has a team of landscaping accountants available to provide anything from bookkeeping to CFO services. Visit cyclecpa.com, and for $100 off, mention the $1 Million Landscaper Podcast. If you want to get the leads you want and turn your current clients into raving fans, then you need to try SendJim. They've created an exclusive offer just for our listeners. If you sign up today, you can get your first month for just $2. So if you haven't already, go to sendjim.io/MDL, where you can get even more exclusive deals just for $1 Million Landscaper Podcast listeners. That's sendjim.io/MDL and take advantage of these awesome deals today.
All right, welcome back, everyone. So today we want to talk about systems and how not having them really really almost hurt our business quite a bit.
Well, it did hurt our business.
Yeah, it did. It did.
It could have killed it if we hadn't turned ourselves around.
Yeah, so just kind of give you a backstory if you're not familiar with us. My father started the business, became incorporated in 88. He was doing a little before then, but became incorporated in 88. And, he kind of grew up. I grew up in the field and just kind of working along the way and learning from him. And then eventually we got to the point where I became vice president, moved my way up. And Katie we were just getting married and coming in and...
Yeah, this is early 2000s is when that kind of all happened. So the business had been going along fine, and your dad was able to grow. Like, if there's anything I can say about your family, they are literally the hardest working people I've ever met. And most landscapers are hard working folks. I rarely see a lazy landscaper. I don't even know that I've ever seen one. And so they were able to get by for a very long time just on sweat and grit.
Yeah. They just kept pushing through. And at that time, you could start seeing things just wearing on my father because it was just very stressful, very chaotic. We had, I don't remember exactly at the time, but 20 some employees, probably more than that, 20 plus employees.
Definitely more than that with
and, we're over, I don't remember exactly the time again, but over $1 million in revenue. And again, we were coming in and started really looking at the business and started looking at everything that's going on. And just, again, you could see my dad just getting wore down because he's just, all the stress is on him. Everything was going through him. He was,
the bottleneck.
In hindsight, he was the bottleneck, and everything had to go through him, whether it was jobs at how they were done and who, was going where and everything. It was just chaotic. And it wasn't really till we started talking to other landscapers and actually joining an accountability group that we started seeing like, whoa, there's a different way than what we're doing things right now.
Because a lot of times you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And you can't do better till you know better. You do what you can until you know better. And so that's really, luckily, when you came on, we had the luxury of putting more time and effort into getting more organized because your dad was just scrapping it by like so many people do.
Oh, yeah.
Just because, you don't want to turn down work. The work is there, so you want to do it. So you hire people and you want to get it done, but it just kind of turns into this like tornado-y mess if you don't at some point get a hold of it.
Yeah, and we're having issues with, our teams just doing stupid, silly mistakes and repeating these mistakes over and over. Scheduling was just kind of a nightmare, just kind of fitting in wherever we could. Our lawn maintenance was pretty consistent. That was done weekly. But as far as the landscape jobs, it was just kind of chaotic. Oh, this person called this week. We better go out there and take care of them.
Yeah, well, your mom and I mostly, organized the mowing crews. And so, not to pat ourselves on the back, but we had a pretty good system going for that.
So, but the landscape was just chaotic. And like I said, a lot of jobs that my dad had, we'd go to him in the morning. Hey, what do we need for this? What truck's going? Who's going where?
Well, nobody knew what jobs you were going to. Nobody knew what tools need to go on which jobs, how long you were going to be on these jobs, how long the job was supposed to take, what the job entailed. Mm-hmm. Like, for all you knew, you could be installing sod that day. You could be putting a pond in that day. You could be regrading and ripping out trees. God only knows. Like, you just showed up and was like, whatever you slap me with today is what we'll do.
And there was no consistency with our pricing at all. And I don't remember exactly then, but we were probably, before we brought on a consultant, we were just doing the multiplier method. We're just taking the materials, multiplying by 2 or 3 or whatever it was. And again,
it kills me that I still hear people in the free Facebook group say that they're doing this. I'm like, this was bad information 20 years ago, and it is still going on.
Well, the same number is still going on. That's what blows my mind. Like,
right,
prices have changed, or what we pay our people has changed. Our materials changed. So I don't know. Anyhow, that's a whole nother story there. But the problem was that we weren't consistent. So some jobs we make money, and other jobs we weren't, and we couldn't figure out why because we weren't tracking numbers. We didn't know what was going on. So.
All right. So how did systems help save this? Okay, we've laid out here that we were just as much of a mess as everybody else. So please never feel bad. If you'd ever like to join our academy and get your stuff together, like, do not ever feel bad showing up on a Zoom call and being like, "Hi, my name is Bill and I'm a mess," because we have lived that mess. And so I'm just saying that's why we're putting it out there, is because we have lived it, so we get it.
Well, this is why we created it, was because of this. So yes, we eventually joined an accountability group, started seeing what was going on in other businesses, and like, holy cow, like, they got their crap together. Even though they may not have thought they had their crap together, they had their crap together compared to us.
Compared to us, they did.
And we started looking at what they were doing and was talking to them. and found out that they started having systems and procedures in place and getting things scheduled properly and creating an estimating system. And all these things really started diving in on us. We're like, wow. So we started really taking a look at our business. We mentioned earlier we had a consultant come in. The consultant really started helping us kind of fine tune our numbers and create the estimating system.
That's the biggest thing that we got out of that.
Yeah. They did have some procedures, but we gained a lot more knowledge on the procedures by visiting these other landscape companies and being part of this accountability group. And so one of the first things I did, and you may have heard this, was creating a simple tool checklist. And this is part of the procedures. You may think checklist isn't part of the procedure, but it is. But it helped us keep in order and making sure our crews had all the equipment for the job. Because early on, we didn't have any enclosed trailers. It was just flatbed trucks. And
you had to load up every day,
Yeah.
everything on and off the trucks.
Yeah, so it was just a bit chaotic.
So if you came in the morning and you didn't have a checklist for the tools you need that day, you had to ask your dad, or the crews are asking you, and you're like, I don't know, but I don't want to go ask him because he's on the phone right now.
Yep.
And so it just leads to a lot of wasted time.
Yep. So we started really creating this checklist, and trust me, there was a lot of corrections and updates along the way, but we kept working on it and updating it.
Well, you did it dirty.
We did.
Doing it dirty is taking that imperfect action. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect, just do it.
And then we started looking at, what we could do to get our crews more efficient, to get out of the shop quicker, because they were taking forever. I mean, we're talking maybe an hour and a half sometimes to get out of the shop. And I understand sometimes that does happen, but there's a lot of things we changed.
It didn't need to be happening every day.
Correct. And then we started looking at like all our other systems and procedures in our business, the way we answered the phones, the way we took down the customer's information, because we didn't really have a consistent way. My mom, I remember having that carbon copy notepad that she would just write down notes that Mrs. Smith called today, but she wants an estimate. But we didn't know, we didn't know much about it. So you had to call.
We weren't asking the right questions or taking down enough information.
Yeah, so we started creating procedure and how we're going to do that. And all these things really started basically a snowball effect of improvements in our business. And
well, each individual one, it doesn't seem like a lot individually, but when you add them all together, it's really a lot. And did you use systems out in the field to make your days go smoother out?
Oh yeah.
Like now that we were getting out of the shop a little bit quicker and a little bit better, how were you able to help the guys be more efficient and run things smoother out in the field?
Oh yeah, so we started creating procedures for everything, pretty much. I should say everything, but the biggest majority of things. And this is one thing we see people in the academy ask, well, I do things a little bit different. That's fine. We still do the same type of steps all the time. The way we plant our plants is still the same. The way we put in our hardscapes are still the same. Maybe you're going a little bit deeper or a little bit bigger or what have you, but all the general things are doing the same.
This is why inside the academy, we provide all of the systems and procedures that we used, and you can use those as the skeleton. If you want to make your own procedure, go for it.
Yep.
But we've got the bones kind of already there because, like Scott said, there are some basic things that are going to be, if not exactly the same, very similar from business to business. So we've got the bones already there for you, just to making systems a little bit easier, because it can maybe seem a little bit overwhelming if you just thinking about trying to jump into them if you've never done it before. It can seem a little bit overwhelming.
Oh yeah.
But that's why we've got the bare bones, we've got the bones in there for you.
And, just having, actually I had this conversation with a person that joined the academy yesterday. They do a lot of lawn maintenance. So, how can you create a procedure for that? And it's simply like how, when the crews arrive to the job site, how they park, where they park. They put out cones around the
Well, these are things you don't think about, because
Yes.
you could have somebody new that comes up and parks and blocks the neighbor's driveway because they're like, what? We're only going to be here for half an hour, no big deal. Yep. But you need to be like, no, our procedure is we do not block neighbors' driveways. Little things like that can make a huge difference.
Yep. Picking up the garbage, however you do things on your customers' properties, those are little things that need to be documented.
Yeah. Do you want the guys to go ahead and pick up, or gals, whoever, do you want your crews to pick up the garbage before they run it over and shred it into a million bits all over the place? And so maybe if you take, a couple minutes to walk it beforehand and pick up trash instead of just hitting it, and then you have 7 million pieces to pick up.
Yep.
It's little things like that people don't think about.
Yep. So there's procedures that can be done for every single thing. And I really encourage you to start taking a look at it. And you're like, I don't have time. I can't, it's going to take me so much time.
Well, that's why we have the academy, is because that way at least we've got you, 80% of the there. of the way there, if not all the way there, depending on how you want to do it.
You have to look at it a different way. Like, yes, it might take you a little bit of time right now, but look in the long term, how much time and headaches you're going to eliminate because of doing this. You're going to have less customers' complaints. You're going to have crews that are be more efficient, so you're going to create more profits, and then you can be able to give bonuses and raises.
Well, a lot of people are quick to jump to getting down on their employees for things that you deem stupid. But you have to remember, you as the owner have a different mindset around things than the person that you just hired. We're back to the people that just shred things with the mower. Yep. If you hire somebody that's brand new, they've not started, they're like, what? I don't know. I didn't stopping, but they don't think about that. They don't think about the aesthetics of it.
A good example of this, and most of us should have heard the stories of like McDonald's, how they have a procedure for every single thing. But look at the people they typically hire. It's usually high schoolers or people just kind of getting going in the field, or somebody just kind of not very well trained in other things in their life, I guess.
For a lot of people, it's a first type of job, and so they don't necessarily have the cognitive ability and experience to go ahead and make the decisions on their own. But if you lay it out for them, then they have it. They have the procedure for them, so that fewer mistakes are made. Is that what you're trying to say?
And it just keep it very simple, like almost like dumb it down. Katie reminded me of this yesterday. We were in the car, like I was talking about dealing with another customer, just a way to break things down. She's like, go explain it to our son, who's 16 years old, see if he can understand it, and create those procedures in a way a 16-year-old kid can understand it.
Well, yeah, and I hate to say dumb it down, because it's not dumbing it down. It's making it easier it's simplified and easier to understand, because if you have never done this before and it is something that is completely new, you can't just dive into the deep end. You've got to walk before you run. And so we have made a lot of stuff in the academy easier than we had it previously, because we realized we kind of like we're cannonballing people into the deep end. But so do the same thing for your employees. Yep. Make it as easy as possible for them to understand, because maybe they have never had a procedure before. So baby step them into it. Yeah,
and that brings up another good point, is to start it early on. If the earlier you can get going, the easier it's going to be, because that's just how you do things in this business. When we started doing this, putting it in after 20 some employees, trying to implement some of these things where people have been there 5, 10 plus years, it was kind of difficult. Some of those people didn't want to change because that's the way they've always done things. Well, this is why. And then we had to go into the explaining, this is how we're going to do it, and this is why we're going to do it now, and started creating that culture to change up.
If your business is just starting up, or if you've got a bunch of newer-ish employees, it's much easier to do it from the start than I've already been here. I've been doing it my way for 10 years. Why would I change now? Yeah, because we were kind of up against a brick wall. We busted through. But the easier you start, definitely the better.
Absolutely. So again, just kind of going back, this is one of those things that we started doing in our business, and it really, it took a little bit of time, I'd say 6 months to a year to start seeing some of the major effects of it. But once it started doing it, then things just started popping.
You can see little effects pretty
instantly. But it just took some time to get it going. And again, it goes back because we had so many people, and
it's because we were kind of jumping in the middle. We weren't doing it from the start. We were starting in the middle.
And the biggest thing when you along those lines, especially when you have those people, that many people, there are going to be mistakes along the way. They're going to but that's what they need to learn from, and just work on repetition before perfection. Just keep moving that way. That's the biggest tip for that. But again, back to our story is that adding these systems, these procedures really, really help transform our business to be a much more efficient business, and just getting our crap together.
Well, you can only out-hustle bad business practices for so long, and we were able to grow to the level that we did because we had these systems in place. We wouldn't have been able to transfer you out of the field some. We wouldn't have been able to build up our pond crew and stuff the way we did had we not had the systems in place.
Yeah, and some people think that's only for the big businesses. We weren't a huge business. There's companies around us that are bigger than us, but to me, we're happy at the level we're making. Our profits, once we started getting our things together, our profits are good. This is where we want it. It was able to support us or keep our teams happy with paying them decent wages.
Absolutely. You get to choose how big or small you want to be.
But just keep in mind, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be a huge company to have all these things. You can start off small. You can start off with one person, and when you start getting the second person, again, that's how it is done here.
It makes your life so much easier in just ways that you don't even realize until you start doing it, and you're like, how did I live without this?
Yeah. So really just start taking a look at your business and, look at ways you can start implementing some of these systems procedures. Keep it simple.
Yeah. I would either pick stuff that you do all the time and do systems and procedures for those, or pick the thing that is causing the largest amount of problems at the time. Those were, if you can't decide where to start.
That's generally where I recommend is figure out what's causing the most issues, the most headaches, whether it's...
Like for us, it was getting out to the shop in the morning, and we narrowed it down to your dad being the bottleneck for information. So we alleviated that bottleneck and got things moving.
Yep. And again, if you guys need more help with this, definitely check out the Academy. We have a lot of procedures that are done for you in there.
Yeah, I think we put every procedure that we ever used in there.
I think so, yeah. And then, we're always working on things and adding things, and then we have trainings on these to help you implement them. So
yeah, if you have any questions, if you do join the Academy, we have two different options. You can either get group coaching or you can do one-on-one coaching. We do have one-on-one spots still available if you're interested in those. But if you're only interested in the group coaching, that's fine as well. But you can show up and ask questions. Like, say you wanted to start using a procedure, but you weren't exactly sure how. You could show up on one of the Zoom calls and you could get information not only from Scott about that procedure, but other people in the group and see what has worked for them. So it's a really great, just co-learning environment.
Well, the cool thing about that is just seeing how people take it and implement it into their existing systems, like seeing how people are implementing the checklist into Jobber and whatnot. Just seeing those little things that we just didn't have because we didn't use Jobber. So seeing what other people are doing with these checklists and how it's helping out is awesome to hear in these group coaching calls. And we do those group coaching calls every single week. We have those, and then there's a monthly live Q&As. We just completed one of those. So it's plenty of opportunity to
the resources are out there and the information is available. So it's just up to you to decide if you're ready to take that next step, if you're ready to get yourself organized and you're ready to do it. Come on over. We've got everything you need.
Yep.
So,
all right, you ready for some fun questions?
Sure.
All right. Have you ever been bitten or attacked by an animal? If so, what and why?
I had a pet rabbit that used to bite me all the time. I wouldn't really call it an attack. He used to just nibble on me. We also had a gerbil that used to bite a lot. I've been bit by garter snakes, picking them up. But they were just little, so it wasn't tremendously painful.
No dog attacks or kitten attacks or anything like that? No.
I wish some kittens would attack. No. Standard, I've been bitten by a cat, I can't remember specifically. I think I was trying to trim our one cat's claws, and she didn't really like it very much, and so she got a few good chomps on me, but nothing terrible, nothing traumatic, no.
All right. Would you rather face a fork in the road or be forced to pick between 3 doors?
I don't know that I understand that. So I want to have 2 choices or 3 choices? I guess just 2, because then you can flip a coin. Okay.
It's just one of the questions we have. So.
Okay, sure. I'll take the fork in the road.
All right. Would you rather be covered in bees or spiders?
Bees.
Bees? Why is that?
I'm not really afraid of spiders, but I'm not afraid of bees either. Usually they're pretty calm and nice, unless you're bugging them. Like if you see beekeepers, they do it all the time.
They do.
So, and I'm not allergic to them. And I don't know that I'm allergic to spiders, but sometimes I get weird bites, and I'm always convinced that it was a spider. So.
Just crawling on you in the middle of the night biting.
Probably, who knows? So I'm going bees.
All right. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening today. And again, if you need any help with those system procedures, come check out the Millionaire Academy.
Yeah, we've got, like I said, we do have some one-on-one spots still available, or if that's not anything you want to invest in right now, there is the group coaching, which is really just as valuable. So.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us today. Have a great day.